Hello, welcome back to Press Review, and let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. Starting in the UAE, the Khalij Times reports that militants from the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant seized effective control of Saddam Hussein's hometown of Tikrit yesterday, expanding their offensive closer to the Iraqi capital Baghdad as soldiers and security forces abandoned their posts. The paper also reports that in a meeting in Athens, the European Union and the Arab League countries have agreed to cooperate against the terror threat posed by homegrown radicals who return home from conflicts in the Middle East. From Israel, the Jerusalem Post reports that the United States has condemned Gaza's rocket attack against Israel, but said it doesn't at this time hold the Palestinian Authority liable for it, even though Hamas has sponsored its new government. The paper also reports that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President-elect Reuven Rivlin began working through their past problems and settling their differences in an effort to build a positive working relationship in a meeting at Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem yesterday. From Saudi Arabia, the Arab News reports that the Labour Minister Adel Faqih has announced that 27 new technical colleges of excellence will be opened across the kingdom in September this year with the support of major international service providers. The paper also reports that the Turkish Foreign Ministry official said Turkey has called for an emergency meeting of NATO to discuss the security situation in Iraq after militants took 80 Turkish citizens hostage during a lightning advance. From Beirut, the Daily Star reports that Lebanon's cabinet is meeting to discuss a proposal by Prime Minister Tamam Salam to end the row over cabinet powers in the wake of a presidential vacuum, as well as the impact of the Iraq crisis on Lebanon. The paper also reports that Lebanese authorities will hand over former Italian Premier Silvio Berlusconi's senior aide, who has been in detention in Lebanon over alleged links to the mafia. Egypt Independent reports that former presidential hopeful Hamdin Sabahi has called for issuing a new law for regulating protests, replacing the controversial one passed by interim authorities. The paper also reports that a Pakistani court has ordered to remove former military ruler Pervez Musharraf's name from a no-fly list in 15 days' time. And now let's take a look at Middle East headlines from papers here in the UK. The Guardian leads Middle East news reporting that a Libyan security official says a suicide car bomber has targeted a checkpoint manned by troops loyal to a rogue Libyan former General Khalifa Haftar outside the eastern city of Benghazi, wounding 3 people. The paper says that the official said the bomber detonated his explosives-laden vehicle on Wednesday night, killing himself and wounding 3 of Haftar's fighters. The Independent leads Middle East news reporting that Sunni insurgents advancing on Baghdad after taking Mosul have captured the city of Tikrit, the hometown of Saddam Hussein, as government forces disintegrate and fail to offer resistance. The paper says Iraqi soldiers and police are reported to have discarded their uniforms, changed into civilian clothes, and fled after firing only a few shots. The Telegraph also leads with Iraq reporting that the Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Sham, the ISIS, has set out a list of rules for residents of Mosul as it seeks to impose its Islamist rules on Iraq's second city. The paper says, referring to the area by its ancient name Nineveh, the group says it has a clear set of instructions for the remaining occupants of the city and the surrounding area. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East news in international papers. In Germany, the Deutsche Welle reports that Washington has promised to support the Iraqi government in its drive to defeat rapidly the advancing ISIS militants, but experts say that more US weapons are unlikely to stabilize the situation. The paper adds that experts say although a long-term solution to the violence is not in sight, Washington must try to convince Baghdad of the seriousness of the situation and the need to address Sunni grievances. And finally, China's Global Times reports that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says national dialogue will characterize his new term in office, according to his recent interview with Lebanese newspaper Al-Akhbar. The paper quotes the Syrian president saying, quote, "We have reconciled with the armed men and declared a pardon for them, so how can we not dialogue with each other?" And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching Press Review. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, and bye for now.